Welcome to Vedic Mathematics Basis Values classes. We are in phase 6 of this chase. Today in this lesson 35, we shall be focusing upon the chase along the formats. So in our formats values compendium, a new page shall be opened. It should be given a caption that how we have to process along the formats. This processing along the formats at this particular stage, at this initial stage, be taken as a 7 steps long chase. Therefore, a particular range of values, features, which are available in 7 steps. Therefore, the 7 steps long range, a range of 7 steps of sequential values are to be taken as a sequential processing step. Sequential processing steps range be taken as of 7 steps long range. It would be like reaching from 1 to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. This 7 steps long range is availing artifices of values 1 to 7. Therefore, along the formats, in our formats values compendium, we are taking up those formats along which chase is to be as sequential 7 steps. Here at the top is mentioned 7 formulations, arranged formulations, sequentially organized formulations, interconnected formulations, sequential emerging chase steps, and this range from here to here is of 7 steps. So there are 7 steps, there are 7 set of values. These values are having parallel formats. Along the formats, these formulations, then these are formats, these are distinct formats, and then these get integrated and make a single wholesome format, which we call it a format. So format as synthetic setup of 7 formats permits us to chase a range of 7 formulations of TC value, sequential TCB values. So note down first range of values: Kram, Varg, Tej, Bij, Dravya, Prakriti and Dhruv. Kram is of TCB value 13, Varg is of TCB value 14, Tej is of TCB value 15, Bij is of TCB value 16, Dravya is of TCB value 17, Prakriti is of TCB value 18, and Dhruv is of transcendental code value 19. Therefore, along this format, we are chasing value 13 to value 19 as 7 steps long processing range. This range is of 7 steps, and these values 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19 take us to the formulations Kram, Varg, Tej, Bij, Dravya, Prakriti and Dhruv. Now these values 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 are having this one range of the formulations, but there will be many other formulations, ranges of formulations, which will be accepting the values 13 to 19. Illustratively, the another such range is Akshar, Sharir, Virya, Jeev, Atma, Ishwar and Punda. It would be blissful that we should tabulate and reach at the TCB values of this second range of formulations. Akshar formulation is having TCB value 13, Sharir formulation is having TC value 14, Virya 15, Jeev 16, Atma 17, Ishwar 18 and Pundra 19. One may have a pause here, and that we take note that the format which permits a chase of 7 steps long processing steps, or which is integrated format of as many as 7 formats. Along this format there could be chase of many ranges, many sequential ranges of formulations. Illustratively here we are taking up 2. One is starting with Kram and reaching up till Dhruv. Second is starting with Akshar and is a reach at the Pundra. Before we appreciate that the format beneath along with which this chase is being had, we should glimpse the organization features of values 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. Value 13 accepts an organization 2 into 6 plus 1. Value 14 accepts organization 2 into 7. 15 2 into 7 plus 1, 16 2 into 8, 17 2 into 8 plus 1, 18 2 into 9 and 19 2 into 9 plus 1. One can have a pause here and see that this value 2 into 6 plus 1 is parallel to the geometries of 6 space. 2 into 7 14 is parallel to the boundary of 7 space. 2 into 7 plus 1 is parallel to geometries of 7 space. 2 into 8 is parallel to boundary of 8 space. 2 into 8 plus 1 is parallel to geometries of 8 space. 2 into 9 is parallel to boundary of 9 space. 2 into 8 plus 1, 9 plus 1 is parallel to geometries of 9 space. That way we are seeing that this reach of value 13 with its organization is of a geometric format parallel to 13 geometries of 6 space. Value 14 takes us to the geometric format of boundary of 7 space in 14 components of the boundary of self-referral boundary of 7 space. A step ahead for the value 15 takes us to geometric format of 15 geometries range of 7 space. Value 16 takes us to geometric format of 16 components of boundary of 8 space. Value 17 takes us to 17 geometries range of 8 space. Value 18 takes us to boundary of 18 components of 9 space, and value 19 takes us to 19 geometries range of 9 space. So here we are seeing that the value takes to the formats. Now these formats also we can visualize as that this value 13 is also parallel to the setup of 13 edged cube within 4 space. 12 edged cube is having a degree of freedom of motion, and this is this degree of freedom of motion which manifests as the 13th edge. Step ahead, value 14 accepts an organization parallel to 4-fold manifestation layer 2, 3, 4, 5 of hypercube 4. Therefore, the value 13 takes to the 13 edged cube within 4 space, and value 14 takes us a step ahead to hypercube 4 itself. Step ahead, the value 15 is parallel to the dimensional solid dimensional frame of 5 space. Value 16 takes us to that the 6 space as origin of 5 space. So when 6 space as origin of 5 space splits out, transcends, then it makes this particular range that this 5 space domain splits into a pair of 5 space domains, and it becomes the transcendence range of the origin. Step ahead, 17, 18 and 19 are parallel to the split of a universal sphere into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, taking us the format of 17, 18 and 19. one can have a pause here and take note that in this chase along the format as a range of 7 processing steps is a particular Vedic mathematics technique accepted and applied and utilized by the Vedic mathematics, science and technology. Vedic mathematics, science and technology is applying a Vedic mathematics processing steps of 7 steps long range. Artifices 1 to 7 takes us to a particular format of any range of formulations which have sequential TCB values. Here we are taking a pair of such ranges of formulations. First range we are accepting is of a crumb, which means sequence, varg, which means a square. Therefore, crumb, varg, tej, bij, dravya, prakriti and dhruv is one range which also accepts a change which permits us to chase this range of formulations with TCB values 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. And parallel to it, we can also chase the range of formulations Akshar, Sharir, Virya, Jeev, Atma, Ishwar and Pur. Now this range of 7 formulations are having TCB values of sequential range 13 to 19. Likewise, this first range of 7 formulations also is accepting the TCB values 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. So one can have a pause here and make a specific note in the compendium as that the Vedic mathematics, science and technology avails a format of 7 processing steps long, and along that format entire ranges, every range of 7 steps formulations of sequential values of sequential TCB values can be changed. Here we are taking pair of such ranges are having a common transcendental code values range 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. One can make a note though here in this illustrative situation we are taking pair of formulations ranges of the same transcendental code values range 13 to 19. However, in general, any two pair of ranges of 7 steps long steps may not be of the same transcendental code values ranges as is here from 13 to 19. So in general, we will have a first range of formulations which may be sequentially having say value n to n plus 6, and the second range of values may have values m to m plus 6. Therefore, the distinct transcendental code values ranges but of 7 steps long and in a sequential organization, that processing chase steps also can be generalized, and we will be attempting these all. We will be through these when we will be taking the blissful exercises after having a few further steps of chases. At present, in this chase step, we are taking a format along with which we are chasing ranges of 7 steps long of the same TCB values range. Therefore, any two ranges of the same values can be compared as well, and also can be accepted that as to how the format beneath is going to be of wider applications. It is not formats beneath are formats, and those are not restricting themselves for a particular single illustrative chase step. It is a sequence of chase steps, series of chase steps. That is why these formats are very rich in their applications. Then we have to further be cautious that the formulation kram, varg, tej, bij, dravya, prakriti and dhruv, it is like meeting the physical world. But the Akshar, Sharir, Virya, Jeev, Atma, Ishwar and Ved, it is of a life pattern. Therefore, the solar universe in its material format and solar universe in its life format. Therefore, the existence phenomenon, may it be Jad or may it be Chetan, may it be life existence phenomenon or may it be a physical mundane format, may it be mundane or may it be subtle. Therefore, these formats are rich enough, potent enough to provide us simultaneous chase for the physical matters Dravya as well as for the Atma. So the being and the material, both. It is this richness of these formats which deserves to be appreciated well. One shall acquire proper insight and to attain enlightenment as that the chase along the formats by the Vedic mathematics, science and technology while avails the Vedic mathematics formats, then these formats, these chase steps are rich enough to simultaneously help us to have a chase for the physical material matter and as well as for the Atma and being. So life existence phenomenon and non-life existence phenomenon, both can be simultaneously chased. Where one can feel that Prakriti and Ishwar, both Dhruv and Punran, it's a Dravya and Atma. Therefore, one shall sit comfortably and to sequentially glimpse and imbibe the values and features of this range of 7 formulations. Then one shall chase and glimpse the values and formats of this range of 7 formulations. Thereafter, one shall sequentially have a comparative chase Kram and Akshar, Varg and Sharir, Tej and Virya, Bij and Jeev, Dravya and Atma, Prakriti and Ishwar, Dhruv and Punar. Once one will be having a proper insight and enlightenment to appreciate how this pair of formulations get paired, and then at next step this pair of formulations get paired and there would be 7 pairs of pairs. With this, then one shall reach at this pair as first pair, then this pair as a second pair, and like that one shall reach at 7 pairs. When one will be acquiring proper insight and appropriate enlightenment about the chase along the formats as of 7 steps long chase in its physical and in a life phenomenon, and both being the simultaneously chased, and at each step there would be a simultaneous chase. One may have a pause here and take a particular insight and make a mention of it in the compendium as that at each of these 7 steps, one is to have simultaneous handling of the formulations. These 7 steps shall get paired stepwise. It is this stepwise pairing of 7 steps long chase which is of actual wider potentialities. It is in terms of it that we will be reaching a generalization of the applications of these formats. It is this that it will take us to the formats of hypercube 6 to hypercube 9, as we will be sequentially reaching at from the geometry's range to boundary to the next geometry's range to boundary, and it would be giving us this particular range. Therefore, it will taking us 6 space to 9 space. Therefore, this 7 steps long chase, in fact, on the geometric format emerges only to be a 4 steps long range along the formats of hypercube 6, hypercube 7, hypercube 8 and hypercube 9. So this 7 steps long processing organization takes us to the quadruple steps processing. This reach from 7 steps long processing to 4 steps long processing deserves to be comprehended well. One shall sit comfortably and to glimpse and imbibe this feature of this chase steps along the formats, which initially is of 7 steps long chase, 7 processing steps, which get reduced to 4 steps chase steps. Therefore, this 7 steps long chase steps reach at 4 steps long chase will ultimately take up to remanifestation process. We know that hypercube is a fourfold manifestation layer. The first manifestation takes us to the dimension, boundary, domain and origin. At the second manifestation, the same space content may be in a different role. Now these roles can be 4. So each space may be in the role of a dimension, it may be in the role of a boundary, it will be in the role of a domain, it will be in the role of an origin. Therefore, this will ultimately take us to 4 cross 4 Varga. Therefore, ultimately the format which is coming and which is ultimately getting reduced to, it is of 4 cross 4 Varga consonants, means it is taking us within creator's space. So the whole processing as it is of the steps which ultimately gets us to the format of hypercube 4, takes us to creator's space, takes us to the format of idol of Lord Brahma. This reach deserves to be comprehended well. Therefore, one shall make a comprehensive note in the compendium beneath this chase along the formats that this chase initially is of 7 steps long ranges. Pair of such 7 steps long ranges are chased simultaneously. This takes us to a format of 4 steps only, of 4 consecutive dimensional spaces, like here 6, 7, 8 and 9. And when we have reached at the 4 steps long chase of 4 consecutive dimensional spaces, and as we know that each dimensional space plays quadruple distinct roles as dimension, boundary, domain and origin. Therefore, it takes us to 4 cross 4, means it takes us to remanifestation. It is possible in 4 space, in creator's space. As such, this chase along the formats in terms of 7 steps long ranges by having a pair of such ranges, having their reduction to 4 space, fourfold manifestation layers, geometric formats, and then ultimately reaching to creator's space. Reaching to creator's space would mean that we will be manifesting along the format of idol of Lord Brahma. We know that idol of Lord Brahma takes us to TC value Brahma is 29, which is parallel to 2 into 14 plus 1, that is 29 geometries range of hypercube 29. Therefore, hypercube 4 with its summation value of fourfold manifestation layer 14 as first manifestation takes us to hypercube 29, hypercube 14 of geometric stage 29. Hypercube 4 to hypercube 14 becomes the ultimate reach. Let us have a pause here. We had started with a 7 steps long range. We had compared it with the second steps long range. Therefore, in fact, these 14 formulations are being chased, and these take us to hypercube of 14. Let us sit comfortably. Let us permit the transcending mind to re-glimpse this reach. This reach is of 7 steps long range, then pairing it with another steps long range, getting reduced to fourfold manifestation layer. It takes us to remanifestation, and with this remanifestation, creator space 4 itself manifests as hypercube 14, and this takes us to the idol of Lord Brahma, Brahma as a formulation of 29. Let us have a pause here and have a glimpse and to acquire an insight as to the reach which is reached up till this phase will take us a step further, and for it let us revisit that the H4 hypercube 4, the representative regular body of 4 space, is a fourfold manifestation layer 2, 3, 4, 5 of summation value 14. H14 will give us 29 geometries range. Value 29 is equal to the TCV value of Brahma. Now this value 29 is reached by a Visfort because explosion Visfort is of TCV value 29. This explosion, this Visfort will sequentially take us to that first phase would be 2, then 5, then 12 and 29. However, when there would be a re-explosion, further explosion at 29, it will take us to 29, 70, 169 and 408. It is this reach of explosion as of 4 steps and re-explosion as of further 4 steps, making it to be a 7 steps long range. It is this will be taking us to that 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 7. It is here we are reaching 4 by 4 grid. It is this reach of 4 by 4 grid which is a value 16, and 4 space is of 9 geometries range. So this organization of 9 into 7 of hypercube, this value 16, deserves to be seen. So this phenomenon of chase along formates in terms of 7 steps long formulations, when is having a pair of such formulations, these take us to the quadruple geometric formates, and it is this quadruple geometric phase which with different roles, with quadruple roles of each dimensional space, will take us to 4 cross 4 geometric format, and it amounts to reaching a creator's space, and creator's space on remanifestation takes us to 29, and this 29 again with a further reach takes us to 408. It is this reach from here to here, and the last result will be reaching as 985, and this deficiency of value 5 is equal to the transcendental dimensional frame. Therefore, the transcendental frame within 4 space, this dimensional frame within this 4 space, and 485 value here will 985 value here will give us 1000. It is Shahestra, it is Anant. It is this reach of Anant amounts to completion of the processing step. Therefore, one shall make a specific note that when chase along formates as 7 processing steps range in terms of formulations of consecutive TCV values, when are paired with another such range, then this takes us to fourfold geometric format. This fourfold geometric format with quadruple rolls for each of the space takes us to 4 cross 4 grid, and this 4 cross 4 grid means reaching 4 space hypercube 4 as a fourfold manifestation layer 14, which takes us to geometry's range 29, and this 29 being the value of a Brahma as well as of a Visfort. Therefore, the explosion We fought 2, 5, 12 and 19, and the next step will take us to 29, 70, 169, 408, and it is this synthesis when will be. Thank you very much.